Hello and welcome back to Third and Long Podcast. I am your host, Mason Rooney, and I am actually joined by my co-host today, Cody Starren. Say hello, Cody.
We're over here just enjoying Seahawks 2-5.
We don't have to talk about that, at least not right now.
Okay.
Unfortunately, Nessie couldn't make it today because she had prior obligations. But, yeah. I don't know if you watched the last episode, Cody, but Nessie did a great job filling in for you.
Yeah, and like I told you a little bit earlier off camera, my brother, I shit you not, spent probably 15 minutes trying to figure out when Nessie would talk. It didn't register in his mind that Nessie's not a real person. It was just a solo show.
Yeah, but we are now back. The band is back together, and it's back to me and you,
Yes,
unfortunately.
sir. My holes are done being filled. They're
All
good to
right, all
go.
right. We don't need any details of your holes being filled. But
Oh, okay.
yeah. In this episode, we're gonna recap Thursday Night Football and look to a potentially big Thursday Night Football game. So, without further ado, you ready, Cody?
Yes, sir.
All right, let's get straight into it then. Man, I was hyping up this KC Tennessee game to be a offensive shootout. I mean, it was, but for one team.
Yeah, I mean, Chiefs got to show up, man. Patrick Mahomes, he's down bad right now. He's
That entire
suffering.
KC team is down bad. It is wild how
Patrick
far they
Mahomes is
fell
trying,
from greatness after just the Super Bowl.
like I said, Patty Mahomes is trying to do way too much, and he's turning the ball over a lot more with him trying to force stuff. And that defense is just terrible. I mean, every statistical category that's important for a defense, they're either worst or second to worst
They
in,
will
in these
never be
areas.
worst with Seattle defense. But on the bright side, Seattle defense did look good.
Yeah, they look pretty good this week. So
I can't say the same about
it's
the
official.
offense.
It's official. KC, worst defense in the league, and the entire team is suffering because of it.
Yeah, at this point, KC would be lucky to even make the playoffs.
Well, they're just in such a tough division. You got the Raiders rolling right now. You got the Chargers rolling right now. That division's tough.
Yeah, but it's. I wouldn't be surprised if they end up just missing it altogether. Honestly.
I don't disagree. I think they'll finish third in their division, and that's just how it is.
Yeah. Uh, Tennessee just they didn't even run all over. It wasn't even Derrick Henry. It was just all around great team play, which is weird for a Tennessee team that, especially over the last month, it's just been Derrick Henry, Derrick Henry, Derrick Henry. But AJ Brown actually showed up this week. Ryan Tannehill was pretty good, and the defense held a very potent, potentially potent KC offense to 3 points.
Yeah, I
So
mean they just got dog walk by the Titans. So I mean it's
yeah. Uh,
and ESPN just still has KC in the top 10 for the power rankings.
did those released today?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I think they still had him like 7 or 8.
They are
He
not
may
even
not.
they are not even a top 16 team right now.
I'd say they'd be lucky to hit top 20 at this point.
Yeah, they're in the company of Seahawks, where they're just not good right now. But without I digress. Football team versus Green Bay.
Take
Uh,
it back real quick. ESPN does have them at 14.
that's still too high for them.
I'm just throwing this out there. They still have the Minnesota Vikings behind them.
Yeah, ESPN loves the Chiefs a lot.
Yep.
So football team Green Bay. I'll be honest, I didn't watch much of this game, but from what I saw, Heineke is not that guy, and he will not be
God,
that guy for the football team.
that rule is so stupid though.
What
I
rule?
mean, you didn't see it. Heineke rolled out. He's on basically the goal line, and he gave himself up or whatever. But apparently, when you give yourself up, as soon as you touch the ground, the play's dead.
Yeah,
Like
that's
you can't.
yeah. I mean, when a QB
But
slides, it's the moment they start the slide where ball spotted.
Right, I get that, but he went head first. He didn't go feet first.
Yeah, then it should have been just where he ended up if he dove instead of slid.
No, they said that he gave himself up, so where that slide or his knee touched initially or whatever, that's where he was down. He was ended up being short, and so on the half-yard line. Then on the next play, he reached the ball over, fumbled it, got the ball, then reached it back over. But they call it, I think it was the what is it? Stop forward progress
Uh,
or whatever. They called that on him, and then they just didn't get it. That was fourth down. So
hmm.
from doing the Lambeau leap in Lambeau Field to 0.
Oh yeah, if a QB, it should. It's weird because usually if a QB dives, it's where they end up, not where they start. So
Yep. Nope. Apparently it's either head first or feet first. He went head first.
I wonder if it's just like a misrule type stuff. But
Nah, I think it was Territor that was down there. He was breaking it down. The rule is right.
really,
Play was
well,
called right. It's just a stupid rule. Protecting quarterbacks.
I guess, but I that whatever. That's I don't think that really cost them the game though.
Uh, it kind of did. You can say it did because at that moment when they got a fourth down stop, Green Bay, they had all the momentum. I mean, it was a relatively close game when that happened. I think that would have tied the game or put them up by like a point or two. And then just after that, football team just had a couple of turnovers that were not inopportune
Mm.
turnovers.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you for informing me about such a potentially good game. Who knows?
It was good till the end.
All right. Speaking of game that was supposed to be good, another game that was supposed to be good, Cincinnati Baltimore. Dude, people need to put name on or respect on Cincinnati's name now, right?
And as a Vikings fan, I'm loving this. It makes that week 1 loss look a little bit better.
Yeah. I mean, you guys, if we're being honest, you guys should have won that regardless. But yeah, you
Yeah,
guys
we
lost to I think, the number one team in the AFC right now.
and NFC.
No, then Cardinals are well, well,
We've
yeah,
lost to both number 1 seeds right now, baby.
yeah. I was mainly talking about the Bengals being the top seed. That
Yeah, that's my bad.
yeah, no, but yeah, Bengals are actually really good right now, and it's surprising.
March 8th, rookie of the year is pretty much on lock at this
Oh,
point, right?
absolutely.
I mean,
Only way he doesn't get it is if he gets injured.
and Mac Jones would still have to ball out.
I think second place is Kyle Pitts.
I think right now, technically, betting odds has Mac Jones number 2 just
Yeah,
because he threw for 300 yards and 2 touchdowns.
yeah.
But then
But
again, he was
I
playing.
would personally have Kyle Pitts as number two. Is what I mean.
Oh, 100%. Kyle Pitts, these last, granted, it's only been 2 or 3 weeks that he's been blowing up, but
But
these
if we're
last
being
two,
honest,
3 weeks,
he hasn't. He's been good since the start of the season. He's just not been getting like touchdowns and all the flashy stuff.
he's finally getting his breakout games now.
Yeah, which is finally great to see for my fantasy team.
Absolutely, I'm loving it.
But Bolt watching that game, Baltimore could not get anything on the ground if it wasn't Lamar Jackson running. So
And I think it's just because of so many injuries in that backfield still.
I
If
mean,
they didn't have
also
Bill,
they lost Ronnie Stanley, which is a big blow.
yep, that
But
too.
yeah,
Latavius Murray, I think, was out this game, right?
oh, I think he played.
I
Maybe
thought he
I
was
could be
listed as
wrong.
out.
I think I think Devontae Freeman may have been the second leading rusher on that team, but I don't know if Murray played or not. I don't know if you're checking right now, but I am.
I am as well.
Stats. Well, Latavius Murray did not get a carry, so I assume he probably didn't play. But still, they need better production from their running backs in general. And I know you could point at the injuries and say like, "Oh man, they can't really run the ball with all this lack of quote unquote talent in the backfield." But we've seen them be able to work with what they've got the last few weeks. So
Well, as I'm looking at this right now, another problem may just be that They're not running the ball that much.
I mean, they couldn't really run the ball, if we're being honest.
But at the same time, they only have 24 carries throughout the entirety of that game. Lamar Jackson has 12 of them, and one of them was probably a sweep from Devin Duvernay.
Yeah. So
That gives you only 11 carries out of your running backs the entire game.
yeah,
And
but
as a team that relies heavy on the run, that's just not enough.
yeah, granted, I don't really remember much about that game besides like Cincinnati just stomping them. But I feel like Cincinnati just jumped out so far ahead so early that Baltimore kind of had to just try to strike fast and strike just as fast as they were. So
And at the same time, it was still relatively close towards the end until they broke off. I think it was two or three big running touchdowns at the end.
yeah,
Both P. Ryan and Mixon broke off nice
big
runs
yeah
at the
they
end of the
broke
game.
off both like big touchdown runs, and that just kind of put the game out of reach.
Yeah,
So
and it made the score look a lot worse than it truly was. But
yeah,
the Ravens just got worked all day.
yeah, unfortunately so, because up until now Baltimore is looking like a true contender, but granted, I don't know if Cincinnati's a true contender now or not, but I guess we'll see going forward.
Well, since he's got that defense humming right now too.
For real, it's like it's so
I mean,
weird how fast a transformation this Cincinnati team has gone through.
yeah, and people forget that they bring in guys like
They brought in Trey Hendrickson, I
Trey
believe.
Hendrickson. I
Same,
mean, they got Eli Apple now. They got I don't know if DJ Reader is new to the squad,
I think he's been there.
but I mean, these guys are getting good production. The guys that
Also,
haven't
how can we forget they have the best cornerback in the league, Trey Flowers, out there?
did he play?
I have no idea, but I know he got picked up by the Bengals. So,
He did play. He had one tackle.
oh, way to go, Trey! But
Yeah, yeah.
good for Trey.
Yep.
Yeah. So,
Trey's a bum.
well, in Seattle he was. Yeah, Baltimore just needs they need better offensive production from their running backs just all around if they want to be able to continue to win games. Because the way they looked out there on Sunday, that's how they end up. That's the type of running back production they're going to be getting week in week out. They're not going to last long.
Either that, or they need to start getting their receivers open a little more often.
Yeah, I mean
They start
they
using
had good production from Hollywood and Bateman, so that was good to see.
yeah, start using Bateman a little more on the perimeter. He's pretty all right out there. I mean,
Can't confirm I've used him in Madden. He's pretty good.
yeah, he's a beast. He can run routes. He's quick. He's twitchy. He's gonna catch balls. He's gonna get open. Utilize that first round talent.
Yeah. Carolina, New York Giants. Dude, this Carolina team is awful without McCaffrey out there.
It's crazy how much effect one man can have on a football team.
Well, you say that, but then you look at Seattle and you're like, yeah, that may also make sense.
Right. I mean, Christian McCaffrey is the heart and soul of that entire team, and like you've seen the last 3 weeks, they
Four.
just got the 4 weeks. You've just seen the heart get ripped out of the Panthers, and they just can't play.
Yeah. All these defensive trades have not helped them.
No.
It's granted they didn't really have to give up much for those big defensive trades, but they just has not mattered. Their offense can't do anything, so it's just their defense is
Well,
always
yeah, I
out
was gonna
there.
say, even if that defense is playing well, I mean, the offense only put up 3 points,
Yeah. So
so it's not like you're gonna win the game anyways.
yeah, good thing I had Giants defense this week. That was a hell of a pickup.
Absolutely.
So I just wanted to ask you this question: do you think Sam Darnold is just really not good, or is he just severely missing McCaffrey right now?
I think he actually just might not be good.
I mean, he showed signs that he was good with McCaffrey the first 3 weeks, and since he's been gone, he just looked like New York Jets or Darnold. So
Well, it also doesn't help that two out of the top three receivers in the league in dropped passes both play for the Panthers.
Robbie Anderson, is DJ Moore up there?
He's number 3.
Wow, I did not know DJ Moore had Butterfingers out there.
DJ Moore has 5 drops and
I know Robbie Anderson has a lot, which is wild.
he only has 6.
Really? That's a lot less than I thought.
I mean, I think he had 4 of them against Minnesota. So
Yeah. Also, that Danny Dimes got hands.
oh yeah, he's looking like young OBJ out there.
I know, like rookie Odell out there, reaching back with that one hand.
Yeah, he's the white version of Odell out there.
Yeah. Need to change his number to 1-3.
Absolutely, get it going.
Yeah. Atlanta, Miami. Now I know you're not on the Tua. You've never been on the Tua train, but I just want to say Tua is not the only problem out in Miami right now. He threw 4 touchdowns yesterday, and I know he threw 2. I knew he threw for 2 picks, but there's a lot more going on than just Tua being bad out in Miami, and I'm not sure what the hell the problem is. I've heard reports that Brian Flores and coaching staff has not been good, or stuff like along those lines. But yeah, I don't know what the hell is up with Miami right now.
I'm looking at it, and the offense isn't really missing a whole lot here.
Yeah, I mean their defense allowed Atlanta to march down the field in like a minute, so I think that's the bigger problem.
Myles Gaskin's averaging 4.5 yards a carry, so you can't blame him.
I mean, but Myles Gaskin has been very inconsistent this year, to say the least.
Yeah, and if they want to be good week in and week out in the NFL, they're gonna need to get an upgrade at running back.
Yeah.
You can keep Gaskin around as a number 2 guy, but you're gonna need to get a number 1.
Yeah. And just so weird how bad this defense has been playing. I mean, if you look at the stats.
What are we looking at?
I'm looking at the stats, and Miami beat Atlanta in really almost every statistical category besides passing yards.
Yeah.
It's just wild to think that. I don't know what the hell's up with Miami, so it's been weird.
They even dominated the time possession category as well.
I know, and they still lost. So I don't know what the problem is. Miami. It could be coaching. I don't believe it's just Tua. So
you can walk in your room.
But on the other hand, Kyle Pitts is great. He was well worth the 4th overall pick, and hopefully he just continues to ball out.
You like my little Yoshi? Yeah, Kyle Pitts is a beast. I mean, he's going to continue to play well. He's a monster. He's going to as long as he keeps getting targets, right?
Yeah.
Because that was the main thing the first 3 weeks is he wasn't getting targets.
Yeah.
So now that Matt Ryan's got that connection there, he should be getting 7-8 targets a game.
And he should be getting double-digit targets a game at minimum, if we're being honest.
He ain't going to be getting Darren Waller targets, but he's up there.
He should be getting Darren Waller targets.
Yeah, but at the same time, Kelvin Ridley's twice the receiver at this point than Henry Ruggs is, so you kind of got to balance it out just a little bit.
I guess. I see where you're coming from, but yeah, I think Atlanta's finally figured it out, offensively and a little bit defensively, but offensively it seems like they figured it out. So that's good for Atlanta going forward.
And honestly, Atlanta's got a good future ahead of them. It's just they got to get these pieces that they got now to develop a little bit and maybe start looking for a new guy at quarterback. Matt Ryan's not terrible at this point, but it's always good.
He's on he only has so many years left, so they're going to have to start preparing for the future at some point.
If I'm a guess, he's probably got 2 or 3 good years left in him.
I think he's just going to ride out the contract and call it a career, if I had to guess.
How many years is left on the contract?
Like 2 or 3. So about the timeline you were saying. But so I'm just saying,
So,
he only has so many years left in the tank in him. So we'll
and this year, there's no good quarterbacks in the draft, really.
no, absolutely not. So, but who knows? QB could just turn college QB could just turn it up from this point, and just somehow bring it out. College football's weird.
Yeah, it is. But even then, you really got to try to take a gamble on a quarterback that played one half of the season real well.
No,
I guess if you're the Bears, I mean, they did it with Trubisky.
yeah. So, the Jets, New England, dude. This was barely a game, so I don't want to really spend too much time talking about it. I just want to say the Jets are down bad right now. So,
And so is Zach Wilson, and so is that offensive line. I mean, that offensive
although
line
they
is
did
getting.
just trade for a flat goat, so we'll see how that does for them.
We saw how that worked the first time, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. It's the reunion tour.
Granted, it'll work out better this time because Adam Gase is not there.
Yeah, so it should work out slightly better. In Heinz, it should at least.
And at the end of the day, Flacco will probably play better than Zach Wilson because he's got so much more experience on him. I mean, he's going to be making better decisions than Wilson was. I mean, let's be honest, Wilson turned the ball over a lot.
I mean, the top two rookie QBs have been turning the ball over a lot, so it's not just Zach Wilson.
True.
But
And
I get the point.
I watch the Pat McAfee show every day, and there's one fellow over there. He's got a bet right now that Zach Wilson's going to throw the most interceptions in the league this year. Who knew that Zach Wilson was going to be battling with Patrick Mahomes for that title?
Is Patty up there now? I know he
He's
threw.
tied with Zach Wilson.
Sheesh, dude. Yeah, that KC team is not good right now. It's wild. But yeah, New England beat another bad team at home. Good for them. And let's get into the afternoon games. And there's two decent games, two stinkers. Let's get the stinkers out of the way first. Houston, Arizona is what we expected. Arizona just stomped Houston. Houston did get a safety on Arizona somehow, but that's neither here nor there. Chicago, Tampa. The most exciting thing to happen in this game was a fan getting metric shit ton of stuff for Tom Brady's 600th touchdown pass ball. And
at the end of the day, I'm gonna put it out there. People can say that ball is worth 500 grand and this and that, but that's not really what this is about. Tom Brady wants that ball back. He threw that ball.
yeah,
The Buccaneers reached out and said, "Hey, we're gonna give you all this." Tom Brady said on the Manning.
you got the dude a whole one Bitcoin, which I thought was
Yeah,
funny the way you said it.
It's gonna be like what 65
Oh,
grand. At this
absolutely,
point?
yeah. You got $1,000 gift card to the team store, like 3 signed jerseys, a signed helmet, another football, I think, a single Bitcoin,
Season tickets for the rest of this
season
year
tickets
and
for
next year.
season tickets for the rest of this year and next year, and I think Tom Brady said he's going to take that dude golfing or something. I could be wrong.
Yeah, I mean,
I would have done. I think it was a fair trade.
he's getting a bunch of it. It's not even a fair trade. It's just the right thing to do. I mean, he
Yeah.
should be.
He,
Good person should just say, "Here, you can have the ball back. That's his 600th." Blah blah blah.
yeah,
Buccaneers were just nice enough to go over the top.
yeah,
Get that ball
absolutely.
back.
Yeah, absolutely. It's weird that that's the most important thing coming out of this game, though.
Because let's be honest, at the end of the day, the NFL is getting that ball back.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, if that man started walking up the stadium, you're gonna get some blow darts right to the back of his head or something. And he's gonna tip over.
Yeah. He would not have walked out of that stadium with the ball, even if he didn't give it up.
He was waking up in a cage like Madagascar.
He's waking up in the gulag.
Yeah, I mean, he wasn't making out of there with that ball.
Yeah. On to a surprisingly good game. Detroit Rams. Did you watch any of this game?
I love that Dan Campbell was playing football like it was Madden.
I know. This man did not care, and I loved every bit of it.
The problem is that the Rams legitimately got out coached, but the Lions just couldn't finish the game.
The Lions
They're
don't
just
have
not
enough talent on that team to.
they're just not talented enough yet to beat
I
teams
know,
like the Rams.
I know, but I have to
Because
say, the Lions has to be the best worst team in the league.
oh god,
They are probably they're not even the top 5 worst teams right now. There's 5 teams I'll put below them. I can't tell you which
it's gonna
5,
be
but I could tell you they are not a top 5 worst team right now.
it's gonna be a repeat of that season where they went 0-16. They played. People forget they played 11 games that was within like one score.
I hope Dan Campbell gets a win soon because this dude deserves it after the way he's been coaching this year.
He's been
Minus one
coaching
game,
what,
he's been close in every game, minus last week. So
and he's been coaching really well. I mean,
yeah,
he's a
I know
good coach at this point.
this dude has been
It's
getting
just
the players to rally behind him, and it has been great football to watch. Gritty, tough, ugly football, which is everyone's favorite type of football, if we're being honest.
just by looking at that roster, they should not be in any of these games.
If they should be 0-7 right now, but they should not be. They should be a bad 0-7. They're a really good 0-7.
I never thought I'd hear that word, but yeah, or that phrase, but yeah, they're a really good 0-7 right now.
Like I would put the Jags, the Jets, the Texans all below the Lions right now, and probably that's just the obvious ones. There's probably some teams you could argue that are worse than Detroit, even
I
with
don't
the
know the
0-7.
Dolphins below them too.
Yeah, Dolphins. Yeah, that's just it's insane how well coached, how hard these players are playing, even with a severe lack of talent.
I'd even
they're
go as
going
far as saying
at these good teams. So
at this point, I think they would kick the shit out of the Panthers.
they would kick the shit out of a lot of teams.
Yeah,
They would kick the shit out of the Seahawks. I can guarantee you that. Well, at least right now, Seahawks without
once Russ gets
Russ.
back, baby.
Yeah, once Russ gets back, it's over. Probably for our playoff hopes, but Philly Vegas. I watched most of this game. I don't know about you, but besides the game looked closer, or the score looked closer than the game actually was. The Eagles got like 2 garbage time touchdowns, and Raiders are just kind of trying to milk clock towards the end of the game.
Oh, okay. I watched zero of that game.
Yeah,
So.
like it looked good early for the Eagles because they scored a touchdown on the opening drive, I believe. The Raiders were marching down, and they got a pick at the goal line off a tipped pass, I believe it was. And then Raiders just kind of went like it was like 30 unanswered or something. And then it was Eagles made it look closer than it actually was. So, and they did it without Gruden again, which is impressive. Well, not that impressive, but they mainly did it without Waller, which was probably the most impressive part about this offensive, the way this offensive played.
I will say I did see a like minute clip or whatever of that guy that's Pistacha or whatever, the new head coach for the Raiders.
Yeah, Rich. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. Coach Rich.
Yeah, I saw when he was with the Cowboys. I saw a clip, and I'll send it to you after this. But man, he knows how to get some players fired up.
Yeah. So
I mean, he can get them fired up right now.
I wouldn't be surprised if he just gets named full-time head coach after this season. Honestly.
As long as he keeps winning, he's gonna.
Yeah. So those were the afternoon games. Sunday night football. This was a really funny game. If you look at the stat sheet, both Jonathan Taylor and Elijah Mitchell had exactly the same rushing stats.
I sent that to you.
I know.
Yeah.
They had to, I went back and looked at it before before we recorded, and they finished with the same amount of carries, same amount of yards, same amount of touchdowns, all rushing at least. I don't know how well they cloned receiving. I imagine Jonathan Taylor outperformed him in receiving, if I had to guess. But yeah, I just thought that was pretty funny, and Indy is looking like a real good playoff team right now.
Indy?
Yeah, Carson
Yeah,
Wentz has
I
not
mean,
been playing bad.
not bad, but not great.
No, but he's playing. He's not playing. He's not hurting the team. He's helping the team more so than he's hurting the team.
Yeah, I mean, Carson Wentz is a real good quarterback. I like Carson Wentz.
Yeah.
I think he's got a lot of potential. I just think he needs to stop throwing his body in the harm's way every 4 seconds.
Absolutely. He needs to learn how to take care of himself a lot better because
I mean,
he lays it out on the line, which I love, but it's going to come back to haunt him as we've seen as his days in Philly ended.
he needs to go sit down and have a conversation with a man named Andrew Luck.
Yeah.
Andrew Luck was the same when, because of all the injuries, Andrew Luck called it quits. He needs to sit down with Andrew Luck and say, "Hey man, let me hear it."
Yeah. But yeah, Indy's looking like they could sneak into the playoffs, and I'm not sure what the hell the problem is in San Francisco right now.
San Francisco's down bad too right now. San
But
Francisco
is
needs
it
a lot of
is
help.
it coaching or personnel? What do you think it
Well,
is?
I'm honestly gonna say it's coaching. I mean, Shanahan's been there 5 years now, and he's got one winning season. If you take out that one winning season, he's got the same amount of wins as Matt Nagy with the Bears
Yeah.
in one less season. Or Nagy has one less season.
Yeah. So, granted, most of those seasons, except the Super Bowl season, was without Garoppolo. But even with Garoppolo this season, they are playing really not good.
No, it just seems like Shanahan is not getting the best out of the players.
Yeah, which is weird because I would say their team is better than right now than it was when they made the Super Bowl.
They have a lot more talent on the team than we have the Super Bowl. But the problem is they can't get any kind of consistent production out of their quarterbacks at this point in time.
Yeah.
I mean,
At
Garoppolo's not
what
playing his
what
best football.
point do you think Shanahan is just gonna say screw it and put in Trey Lance for the rest of the season? It has to be soon, right?
It's got to be soon. But at the same time, Trey Lance honestly didn't show anything all that fantastic.
I mean, in the half he played against the Seahawks, granted it is the Seahawks defense, he looked good. He played a tough Arizona team, which I don't think that should be what you base it off his potential off of. So at some point, you just need to say, "Screw it. We're not really doing it much with Garoppolo at QB. Let's see what we could get out of Trey Lance and see if he's going to be the guy going forward."
Well, he's
Because
going to be the guy going
the
forward
bar
regardless.
the bar for rookie QBs this year has been set so low by every other rookie QB's performance that they really have nothing to lose right now.
Well, at this point, Trey Lance might even be Rookie of the Year just because he's not throwing picks.
Yeah, like right. Trevor and Zach Wilson, they could have a strong second half of the season and launch themselves up into
Well,
rookie.
Zach Wilson's
Well,
out for the next
yeah,
2 weeks.
yeah, mainly Trevor Lawrence. He could have just burst onto the scene in the next half or last half of the season and just insert himself into the rookie of the year conversation. But there's just been no good rookie QBs this year that have been like significantly impressing. Like last year, Miami kind of had to like pull the trigger on Tua because Herbert and Burrow were showing out, so they needed to see what the hell they had in Tua because his competition was looking great. This year, it's the opposite because no QB is looking great right now, and at this point, the season, granted, it's a long season. We have another entire half the season to go, but they kind of had to just say screw it. I wouldn't be surprised within the next 2 weeks that Shanahan just says, you know what, we're not really doing much offensively as of late. We need to see if Trey Lance was worth it. So
We'll see.
yeah,
It's one of those wait and see kind of things, you know?
yeah. Hopefully we don't have to wait too long to see.
I hope not.
Monday Night Football. I don't really want to talk
I'll
about
let you
this.
start this one.
I don't want to talk about this, but we must. Where do I start? I don't know if you saw the stat, but outside, did you see that DK touchdown?
Yeah, that one play that Seattle played offense.
Yeah, the one good offensive play. We're gonna start with how
Yeah, I
bad
saw that.
Seattle's offense was. Outside of that one play, Gino had less. Gino had less yards for the entire rest of the day. Is that the thing? That's the thing I sent you. We'll get to that. We'll get to that. We're gonna spend the next maybe 10 minutes talking about this. Hopefully not. Hopefully I don't talk about this for the next 10 minutes. But Geno Smith had less passing yards for the rest of the game than that one touchdown pass.
I saw that.
It's. I don't want to say Geno played bad, but he played bad. But it didn't help that Pete Carroll didn't really give him a chance to play good. They gave him the ball like so few times that every possession was put. Every time Geno got the ball, it was put under a microscope, and if he didn't do anything with it, it just kind of amplifies like, oh man, Geno's not playing good right now. But like, Pete Carroll had such an obsession with running the damn ball that I was watching the game with my dad, and we were just calling, hey, there's going to be a run for 1 yard. Hey, there's going to be a run for -2 yards. Hey, we're going to run it on third and long because we don't trust Geno enough to potentially try to get a first down.
The thing that gets me is people don't realize how similar Russell Wilson and Geno Smith's play styles really are. Both can get out of the pockets whenever they need to. Both have a pretty strong arm. Geno Smith's slightly less accurate, but I mean he still can get the job done going downfield. He can hit all these crossing routes. I mean he's talented. He can do it. You just gotta give him the opportunity to do it.
And Pete Carroll did not want to give Geno any opportunity. They just wanted to try to run the ball, which was having no success at all for either team, if we're being honest. But even after the game, I don't know if you heard or read. I may have sent this to you. But Pete Carroll admitted on during the press conference that Russell Wilson has more or less saved his job as a Seahawks head coach.
Yeah.
And it is so jarring that there are people out here defending Pete Carroll that would pick Pete Carroll over Russell Wilson. That is. It is hard. It's hard being a Seahawks fan right now.
If there's no Russell Wilson, there's no Pete Carroll.
Absolutely. I listen to Colin Cowherd occasionally, and he was talking about this. Outside, or Pete Carroll has not won without Russell Wilson. He could look back all the way back. At least he's not won in the NFL without Russell Wilson. You could look back to when he first was a head coach. He did not win at all. Until he got Russell Wilson, his career was meaningless in the NFL. And to see how it's just mind-boggling that Pete Carroll is so like stuck in a offensive scheme that's old and just uncreative and so it's an outdated offensive scheme. I saw this thing on Twitter. It's like DK and Lockett finished the day with 4 touches total between the two. Alex Collins had 19 total touches that entire game. Like when you have 2 great receivers, your lead back is injured. Your second lead back, your running back 2, just got activated off IR, and your third running back has been dealing with a groin injury all week. Maybe air it out a little bit more. After that 84-yard touchdown, you would think they'd be like, oh man, maybe we could pass the ball, actually. No. They refuse to pass without Russell, and it is hard to watch because I'm not going to defend Geno because, if we're being honest, he played bad. He took unnecessary sacks. Time management was awful the entire game. I don't know if you noticed that, but they had to call so many timeouts to avoid delayed games. That's pretty much all their timeouts were used for, just to avoid delay games.
Right.
So
they could have used them though at the on that last drive.
Absolutely. Gino took so many unnecessary sacks that game. It, I'm not gonna defend Gino
And
because he doesn't deserve to be defended. He did not. He deserves criticism. He deserves what I'm saying.
the whole team does though. It's not just Gino.
Yeah, like the defense. Right, the defense was a bright spot of this team.
Yeah, they played good finally.
Granted, it was against Jameis, but take it as you will. I Kamara Kamara in the it was just insane the first half receiving the ball. So, but they in the second half they double teamed his ass coming out of the backfield. It was funny to watch.
Absolutely. And then you had Traquan Smith just doing hooligan.
He had one good play.
Yeah, but then there's another play I think I watched, and he didn't even ever look back for the ball. He was just
Yeah, and that's the play. I don't know if it was intentional, but it looked like he kind of hurt Marquise Blair, who report came out today saying he broke his knee. So yeah. Also, I just want to say, Al Woods. You probably don't know who this guy is, but he's the dude that jumped off sides on that field goal attempt that gave the Saints the first down. You remember that at the end of the game? I hate him. I hate him with all my guts right now. Granted, it probably wouldn't have made a difference, but the fact that it killed so much more time off the clock and they still walked away with the same 3 points, it aggravates. It just made me a little upset, to say the least.
I think the biggest kick in the nuts was when Gino took 2 sacks in that last drive.
Yeah, they I would say both of them were kind of unnecessary. They could have thrown the ball away. I think maybe one of them he could have thrown the ball away, but he
at least just airmail it over the head of a.
Yeah, just launch it deep. Just launch it deep. But yeah, that's all I want to say about it. Also, Kamara's the second best running back in the league, and that's that. Anything you would like to add to my pain and depression?
No, you wrapped that one up pretty good.
All right. Thursday Night Football, big game. Green Bay versus Arizona. Should be a. Granted, I don't have the best track record of saying, "Hey, this game's going to be good," and we just end up getting a complete dumpster fire. But it should be good. Green Bay is going to be without Devontae Adams because he tested positive for COVID. So, I know a few weeks ago you said this would be the game where Arizona loses. Do you still feel the same way?
Yeah, I feel even better now that Devontae Adams is out.
Really?
Devontae Adams has missed 6 games in his entirety of his career due to whatever. And in those 6 games, the Packers are a combined 6-0 without Devontae Adams.
All right. Well, you heard it here first. Devontae will not be missed. Green Bay is going to walk away with this dub.
Let's not be crazy here. Devontae Adams will certainly be missed. The Packers are not a better team without Devontae Adams.
They're in fact a significantly worse team without Devontae.
But at the end of the day, I do predict a monster game out of Randall Cobb.
God, I hope so. I have him on the fantasy team.
I genuinely think that Randall Cobb will get double or even maybe even triple the amount of targets that he's been getting.
Oh, definitely. Definitely. But I expect Aaron Jones to get a lot more volume this game, considering he didn't get much last week. So
he didn't get anything last week. I think he had like 4 or 5 carries.
Yeah, it was very minimal touches. I expected him to get upwards of like 25 to 30 touches this game. So whether that be rushing, receiving, whatever. Shit, I wouldn't be surprised if he throws a pass.
For the sake of my fantasy team, I sure hope you're flipping right.
Yeah. But I think Arizona's just playing good right now. Too good right now. I'm going to say they walk away with this win. It hurts me to say that, too, so.
Both teams are playing lights out right now.
Absolutely.
So I do think it's going to be a fantastic game.
But granted, I don't have the best track record of saying that. I've said that like the last few weeks over some games I thought would be good. No, nada. Absolutely not. So.
No, I think this game will be a good one.
It should be. I believe these are the top 2 teams in the NFC right now.
Yeah, and people are saying like, oh, Packers are 5-1 or 6-1 or whatever they are, but their point differentials, this and that. People forget they lost by 35 points,
Week 1, so yeah.
and they still have a very positive point differential. They've been murdering teams since week 1.
Yeah.
I mean, this team is on fire right now.
Yeah.
A little setback without Devontae, but they still have enough weapons on that team between Aaron Jones, Alan Lazard, Bobby Tunyon,
Marquez Valdez Scantling.
MVS. I mean, they're Randall Cobb.
They I don't agree with you. All right, I agree with you on that part, but I just think Arizona is going to be able to. Arizona's looked really good
Yeah.
this whole season, hence why they're undefeated. So I think that streak's going to keep on going, and I just pray we get a good game. And for once, when I say we're going to get a good game, we actually get one.
I think the main way that Arizona will get the win is if they can get Chandler Jones and J.J. Watt going early.
Yeah. Well,
I mean,
I don't know if Chandler Jones has had a sack outside of week 1.
I'll look it up because I don't know.
Because I remember for like after week 1, I remember like 4 weeks it went by and he didn't get a single sack. So I'm like, well, it happens. But while you look at that, I'll wrap this up, and you can finish with whether or not Chandler Jones has had a sack since week 1. Thank you guys for watching. This has been the episode. We'll be back on Friday, or we'll be back on Saturday. We're gonna have to talk after this real quick, Cody. Be sure to follow us on our socials right here. My personal socials, Cody's socials up there where he's pointing. And Cody, what's the word on Chandler Jones sacks?
Maybe he'll get his first sack this week since week 1.
All right, you've heard it here first. We will see you guys later. Bye-bye.